vehicle. What's the address of the emergency?
2121 Dieckman, Dieckman Road. I said we can't get out of our property because it's flooded all the way up to our, halfway up our dually. So we can't leave at all. The levee's right behind us and it broke, so we can't get out. We need to be rescued.
Residents in southern Tasmania are demanding to know why cloud seeding was conducted over the Derwent River catchment the day before the worst floods in 40 years. Cloud seeding is a technique used to increase rain. Hydro Tasmania has confirmed it flew a cloud seeding flight despite the weather warnings. Farmers believe...
Fires en route to 2121 Dykeman Road, 2121 Dykeman Road. Residents are advising that the levee is broke and the water's up to their house now. They're unable to make it to their vehicles. 2 adults, 2 children. Fires en route.
En route from 24 and Susquehanna.
Copy, Shane route. 825.
457 advise just as soon as you arrive. We may have to get some resources out there.
Good.
Yeah, don't go north of the tracks. You'll get trapped out there, so we'll be up there in a few minutes.
Just FYI, CJC's en route with a boat.
I talked to Troop. It sounds like they're going to dispatch a boat that way also, because we're going to have other residents that probably have to.
Copy, Troop A advised as well. 845.
22. Where do you want the drone when I get there?
Can't go west on Lexington either. You can only use 24 to Schuster. It's over the road also.
Where they've got the sandbag, water is now going at a pretty good pace through there as well.
East on Cogswell is underwater, and there's 2 houses on the other.
All right, guys, welcome back to Above Ground World News. Devastating footage going on all across the United States, all across all the other countries. And they all have one thing in common. They all have been engineered. None of this weather is natural. I'm taking a look at a radar right now. I got sidetracked getting ready for this show. And I seen this anomaly coming out of the Amarillo, Texas radar. And we're going to get into all this pretty deep like here in a minute. So I'm going to jump into the headlines first, and we'll jump into this crazy radar anomaly. So here, let's jump into some headlines. So yesterday we seen this high amount of carbon dioxide all over Southern California. Well, article come out today saying that the eerie haze over the sky was not, wow, how do I go to the next frame here? Oh, there we go. Was not from high, or let me start this over. The eerie haze over the Bay Area is from high clouds, not wildfire smoke. This is all the lithium colors. And we also documented the aerosols that were being deployed into the skies. What's that picture? Oh man, stupid mainstream. Faked this out there. But anyway, we know what it was. It was aerosols being deployed, and we're going to show you that maybe here in a minute. But see, oh my gosh, mainstream sucks. So what they're saying, the stuff you're seeing in San Francisco right now is high-level clouds spilling in from the south. A forecaster with the National Weather Service Bay Area, it isn't tied to any smoke that I can see. Further confirming of the lack of smoke, the Bay Area Quality Management District weather quality map puts the Bay Area mostly in the green, meaning good quality. A pocket around San Jose was moderate. Also 100-degree temperatures still in the forecast for today. While the smoke from the sand fire reached the Bay Area Saturday and Sunday, especially the North Bay, they didn't expect a huge smoke out on Monday, except for the northeast Napa near the fire source. We have high resolution model we use for smoke. I'm not seeing a lot of smoke from the satellite. As far as major impacts to San Francisco itself, I'm not seeing a lot from the model guidance that we're going to see a repeat of last November. Well, we know what high clouds mean. We know what filtered sun means. It means aerosols are being deployed. Let me see if this is loaded yet. Well, let me get on the right scene here. I had so much stuff going here, man. Let me see if we can play this loop. If not, just go back to yesterday's loop. And we'll see. Yeah, it's going to have to be on yesterday's. You still see they are spraying this area. Inside the man-made cloud, you got aerosols being deployed out here in the Pacific all over the place. Yeah, yesterday we showed this on the live show, the super heavy spraying. And I can't go back. I can go back a day, but it would take too long to load it. So let me get this on the full screen so we can look at this later. Let me go ahead and pause it. All right, we'll pause that. We'll get back to that. Let's get into a couple more articles here. All right, so they found some cracks on a nuclear reactor that could lead to evacuation of Edinburgh and Glasgow. The Hunterston B nuclear plant near Anderson, Scotland, is home to two of Europe's oldest nuclear reactors. At 43 years old, they're way beyond their operating lifetime, which have been extended twice by the EDF Energy. The reactors are scheduled to close down for good in 2023, but there's a serious safety fault at the plant. Now, the reason why I brought this article in is all of our nuclear reactors are even older than them. And we've had the Hanford site leaking all over the place. We got tons of infrastructure problems with all of our nuclear facilities. I mean, we don't trust this stuff. They're dumping this stuff in the ground in earthquake prone areas. You know, they're dumping this in the Indian reservations. They're dumping this all kinds of places. A while back, a couple years ago, I followed a semi truck that was hauling spent nuclear rods in it. No escort, no police escort, no nothing. Just cruising down the road. So it's a big issue. You also have an excessive heat warning issued for Tuesday and Wednesday for San Diego area. And that's because they've trapped the heat in. You know, when they spray these aerosols up in the sky, these chemtrails, which is what they are, they're not contrails, they're chemtrails. They are bouncing the sunlight out, but they're also trapping the heat in. You can go back to when 9/11 happened and look at what happened to the temperatures. The nighttime temperatures actually cooled off when there was no planes in the sky. It got a little warmer in the day, but the overnight temperature was dropped by, I think, 2 or 5 degrees. It was a lot. All right, we also had drownings were declared a public health crisis in Harris County. This came out yesterday out of Houston, Fox 26. So they had, here's all the people that drowned, mainly kids. Looks like between 2 all the way up to a guy 29, but man, I mean, these floods, these are just the ones that we know about. We don't know how many people are missing. All the farm animals, you know, they're starting to open up the floodgates right now. And while that's going on, Venezuelans are marked with numbers to stand in line at a government supermarket. This is where this stuff is going. So look at that line right there. People line up to buy food at a supermarket. Look at that line, man. And then they stamp your arm with a number. Pretty crazy stuff, man. We don't want to get to this point, but it looks like they're going to keep on trying. Then over here in fisherman warns Gulf waters carry flesh-eating bacteria. This is another story that just come out. 20-year-old Reed Hardy loves to fish and swim, but he's careful nowadays. Last year, after a Dolphin Island trip, his elbow started swelling. The doctors didn't know why, and he went in for the surgery and discovered a dangerous bacteria. When they opened up his arm, they found Microbacterium venereum. Man, that's where I go on vacation to. I went on vacation there quite a few times a couple of years ago. So they've completely toxified the oceans. You know, we got a huge dead zone going on down there now that's expected to grow. All right, so anyway, I was checking out these radars before the show. I just wanted to kind of get a good look over in Texas, man. I see this crazy anomaly right here, just south of Amarillo, Texas. And just watch this loop. You get like an inflow, and then something blows out of the next rad site. And I come over on the worldview map, man. There's not a cloud in the sky. I mean, I checked all the different layers. There's where it popped off. That's not even the right one, I don't think. But yeah, I was really freaking out on that, and I was trying to figure out what in the heck is going on there. So I got this going, trying to look at the water vapor, trying to look at the aerosols being deployed. I put all the graphs on here so I could go find it on Google Earth. And here's where the National Weather Service is. So it happened just right on down here, and I got Google Earth up. I'll have to bring it up here. Let me see if I can bring it in here. But I mean, I got stuck on that for a while, so I didn't get to look real far. So I haven't found where it emanated from yet. Yeah, I'll do this later. Yeah, I mean, it takes a long time trying to find that stuff on Google Earth. But I got it pretty well lined up. I know it's a pretty cool looking little farmhouse. Like, it looks like a super rich person. But anyway, I'll get into that later. But hey, let's take a look over here in the Pacific. Look at these right angles on the clouds, man. That's not a normal thing. And guess what? The ships are back. We also have aerosols being deployed. Let's put the 3.7 microns on here. And see how they stand out. So they were gone for 2 to 3 days, and now they're back. I was doing some research earlier today. Oh man, it's gonna start this crap. And I was reading into this electromagnetic energy, and what they do is they actually target the high pressures, and they take little sections off of it. Now they're just using electromagnetics like ground-based radars to steer these atmospheric rivers. Wow, I don't know if it's gonna load. I got an error here, man. It's gonna be one of them nights. Now you can see the shape of the clouds. These are being hit with the frequencies, the electromagnetics. They're trying to steer the atmospheric river. Wow, it's gonna load for us. All right, so the ships are back out here, man. We got super grids going on with the bunker fuel. A lot of people ask, what's bunker fuel? Bunker fuel is the most toxic emissions on the planet. It's like when they refine gas, it's the leftovers. I mean, it's some nasty stuff. We contribute this to the Pandora fog test. You probably just Google search that. I don't have that clip lined up right now, but yeah, these lines right here, the dark yellow or the yellow and then into the orange, them are the chemtrails coming from the boats. And let me kind of back this out. We'll let that load here for a second just to see if there's any other shipping operations. They just pulled one of these off down in Australia not too long ago, about a week ago. So let me go ahead, and while we're getting that, we'll see where the air pressures are. Make sure we're on now. And I'm going to put the sea level pressure on. So there's really no, just a little bit of a high pressure right here. It's mainly going up into the BC area where all the fires and stuff are. Or if I can check different layers or heights to see if they're different spots. So it looks like the internet's kind of sucking today again. Yeah, so this isn't gonna help me a whole lot here. Well, what it boils down to is these are from the aerosols. When we look at the carbon monoxide even concentrations, either you have a bunch of methane gas spewing up out of the earth, or you just got some crazy manufacturing thing. But what I think is really happening is the aerosols, because where you see this happen like this is where the most heaviest spraying is. And yesterday they were the whole thing in California was getting bombarded yesterday, actually all the way up the west coast. And I think it locks all that crap in. We'll have to dig into that a little more. But it's definitely not from the fire smoke. And the only thing that's out there right now are the aerosols and the bunker fuel. So let me go ahead and try to get that layer back off. You know, when we're looking for these are the aircraft. Here in a little bit we'll get to the microphysics on the GO 17 and we'll show you. But these are from the aircraft. The higher clouds, your local weatherman will call them high clouds. He'll call them filtered sun. You know, he'll call them high cirrus clouds. And it's all made by the planes and drones. Let me just click this layer. See, yeah, it's not even loaded all the way. So yeah, huge operation of the bunker fuel, the toxic crap out here. Missouri, we got just pounded today. Like all day I had the chemtrail headache. We got some kind of weird stuff going on right there. That's like a super thick smoke curtain trail. Or if I can get rid of this error message. Yeah, okay. So every bit of our weather is being manufactured, but I was really wanting to figure out what the heck was going on here in Texas. And you got a big spraying operation going all over Oklahoma, all into Missouri. I mean, this doesn't look very big, but it was the whole state of Missouri. We were getting pummeled today. Same with Arkansas, Texas, going up into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Arkansas. Like pretty much everybody in the Ohio Valley will be sprayed if they're not sprayed already. Michigan, not yet, but tomorrow. All the aerosols that are here in Wisconsin, they'll be spraying out ahead of this. So up in Canada and over into Michigan. And then right up on this area here is going to be all sprayed up to the Virginias and Pennsylvania, New York, all the way up to the Atlantic. They're major spraying operations. And we still got the fires going on big time up here. Now this is the smoke from the fire, so they're still burning up there. Mexico's still on fire too. Anyway, I didn't get a lot of this loaded. We got a little bit of a Sahara dust out here. Yeah, this thing is not loaded. So we'll see what this looks like on here. So here's this little mini storm that popped out of nowhere. Oh, there's the aerosols right there. So they sprayed the aerosols in here, and then you got a little bit of cold air coming down. So we'll see how this thing formed. There was really no clouds. Whoa, what was that shot through there? But look, that thing was fabricated out of nowhere. And it was a mini storm. There's the aerosols. So let me break that back here. So right here, this is the target zone. So they did a bunch of little short spraying operations. And that's just south of the next red station. And then soon as this little bit of cold air pops off down here, here comes the cooler. And what is this thing right here? This thing just pops out of nowhere. It looks like a rocket. And shortly after that here, we get this explosion of a storm exactly where the aerosols were sprayed. I mean, that's a powerful, that's like a weather weapon right there. That's a rain bomb. I mean, that thing just explodes out of nothing, and it's all by itself, which we'll see on the map. But pretty crazy, man. That is pretty crazy right there. And the weird thing is there was an inflow going into the radar. So the radar was sucking the wind towards it. That's a wind farm or a, yeah, look at this inflow going to the radar. That don't even make sense. Everything is flowing either from the north down or from west to east. And all of a sudden it gets a wind being sucked straight over to the next red station. And then you get this crazy little rain bomb. Completely fabricated. Look at the face in that. That actually has two eyes and a big mouth. Pretty crazy right there. All right, let's see if we can get back to the let's check this watch and warning right here real quick. So we have severe thunderstorms, Hastings, Nebraska, Norman, Oklahoma. All right, no tornado stuff. Let's go ahead and get out of that. Now, where's my full screen? Okay, here's my full screen. Let's put this on the IR, see what it come out like. All right, so let's put this thing in motion here. Yeah, I took some pictures. I didn't get them. I haven't uploaded them to the computer yet, but I've been taking pictures of our sunrise every morning, and man, it was toxic this morning. And it was like every couple mornings they really lay us down with some nasty aerosols. So what do we got going here? It's not wanting to load. I got that one stopped. Probably done with this when I save the file for it. All right, so there's that storm right there. Let me get this up here. So you can see right there where this little bitty crazy little storm pops off. Man, it's not loaded all the way. What the heck? Okay, it's probably loaded where we're at. They have the cold air come crashing in, but I mean all the storms are firing up way up here. This is just a random, you know, prefab storm right here. It's like a test run out over the farms. Man, I can't believe this thing isn't loading. All right. It's got to be getting close. So you already had some moisture blow through, so the atmosphere should have been stabilized. So it's all still should be stable right there. What the heck is wrong with this map? It's like missing some frames in here. And we have that little freak out right there. I mean, you can see how the storms normally fire off, but this one here is not like a normal storm whatsoever. It looks like we're missing frames. What is going on here? Let me check this time frame here. 1921, 22. What? 22. It skipped some time in here. Why did they skip some time? All right, I'm gonna let that run through. I want to see if they're skipping some frames. Yeah, it kind of hyper jumped there. Yeah, definitely a glitch in the matrix, or they're hiding something. Look, we got military chaff going on right there in New Mexico. So there's that thing explodes up. There went our aerosols and our little bit of moisture. Cold air is moving in. Military chaff, New Mexico. And then boom, we got a freak Frankenstorm down there. All right, we'll let that load. Let's go ahead and might as well check the earth null while we're here. And my batteries just went dead in my headset, so I can't hear a thing. Oh well. All right. Yeah, I got all off investigating that area where that anomaly was, man, and I got behind getting ready for the show. So we're just we're going with the flow tonight. Yeah, they turn, you know, the aerosols that are coming out of these planes, man. I mean, you can call them what you want. If you want to call them a contrail, if you want to call them a cirrus cloud, but what they really are is a chemtrail. You know, they want to call that, you know, names that so they can label stuff. Wow, that looks weird, like something's wrong with that. Might have some funny business going on down there with the polar vortex winds. Let me check the jet stream. You know, I got a clip of NASA admitting that the, you know, just the planes, just the regular planes, the commercial aircraft, they are doping up the jet fuel. They admit that the chemtrails are worse now than in all of aviation history put together. And they're trying different mixes. You'd think with our technology, we would have, you know, planes running without any contrails, any chemtrails, anything, but they are doing it on purpose. Now, I do got that clip. We could play that clip. We'll play a little short version of it.
So you just mentioned contrails. So how do the contrails affect or have an impact on the climate?
Right. Well, contrails have a huge impact on climate. And so, in fact, some of the recent modeling work that has come out of DLR suggests that contrails today, just the ones that we're able to see up in the sky, maybe today, this week, this month, have a larger impact on Earth's climate than all of the carbon dioxide emitted by aircraft since the first powered airplane flight. So that's a huge...
Okay, so he just said carbon dioxide, and that's what we're looking at. here in California. This is the carbon dioxide concentration. This is at the surface. So he's saying right there, you got the mountains over here, so that's being trapped in, and he just admitted to it. He just admitted that's what they're doing. And that's just with the jet fuel. That's not even the actual sprayer nozzles that are hooked to a lot of these military planes.
So you just mentioned contrails. So how do the contrails affect or have an impact on the climate?
Right. Well, contrails have a huge impact on climate. And so, in fact, some of the recent modeling work that has come out of DLR suggests that contrails today, just the ones that we're able to see up in the sky, maybe today, this week, this month, have a larger impact on Earth's climate than all of the carbon dioxide emitted by aircraft since the first powered airplane flight. So that's a huge effect. And so even as CO2 accumulates, greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, the impact of these contrails trapping heat and reflecting sunlight back into space is having a huge effect on the Earth's energy balance. And so
that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they're dumping more particles this week than all of the aviation since the very first plane. That's why our skies are so toxic. That's why we're all have a chest infection. All right, yeah, I kind of got locked on there. I couldn't get out of there. It's still showing it. All right. So here we are. We're looking at today's carbon dioxide. Let's take it back to yesterday. If it will load. So yeah, see, yesterday it wasn't that bad, but this was the highest spot on the planet. I mean, we could look around. This is yesterday. There's like none anywhere on the planet except for maybe a little bit up here in the East Coast, and then tons of it here in Southern California that we go up into today. If it'll load. And today it's even worse. So the air qualities here are really bad. 480 parts per million volume. So probably the highest spot on the planet again. I mean, you got a little light stuff going on there around South Korea. But yeah, here's the highest carbon dioxide concentrations on the planet, Southern California. You got horrible air. And it's not wildfire smoke, it's the aerosols being deployed. And look at this, here's the carbon monoxide. So you got double whammy going on. And it's just as bad up in the Northeast. And that's where all the heavy aerosols were yesterday. Let's take a look. Let's see if they come in. Try to get this to load up a little bit. Try clicking the layers, so that's a little later today. I'm trying to get as early as I can. Wonder if I can go back a day. Probably will take so long to load. Man, this thing just ain't gonna load, is it? Meant to do some computer maintenance here in the next day or two, so I might miss one night this week just to try to get everything all straightened out on this computer. Man, it's not loading. What the heck? Okay, now it's starting to load. Whatsoever. All right, so this was yesterday. This was all the aerosols. This was the microwaves, turning the clouds into microwaves. They're hitting it with the electromagnetics. And if this would clear up, you would be able to see just the mass bombardment going on. And then you can also check the different layers. The worldview map link is in the description. It'd probably be easier for you guys to look at it yourself instead of counting on my internet, because it sucks right now. Alright, so let's take a look at where are the aerosols tonight. Well, all over Missouri, Arkansas. This is all fake man-made clouds. So is all this. So we have like a mega spraying operation going on, and they're spraying some of the thickest, heaviest trails I think I've ever seen up there around Oregon and BC. So like, there's only a few places on this map that's not being sprayed. Let's go ahead and check this one up here, because that is just ridiculous. This is undeniable evidence of what they're doing. So you got all kinds of different mixes being conjured up here. I mean, they're spraying way up into the Aleutian Islands, Alaska, all over off the coast of Washington, Oregon, in Oregon, Washington. See all this stuff, they're spraying the low pressure system. There's a low pressure system right here. The bunker fuel is splitting off parts of the high pressure to make these low pressures. And then you get the super X's and super thick, super fat lines. I mean, this is a mega spraying operation right here. And it's going on all across the country. How could there even be this many planes modifying the weather? You wonder where the $2 or $3 trillion missing was? Well, right here is where it is. It's in the weather engineering programs. You know, I have a document that I haven't reported on yet, but it's about how the aluminum particulates, on how they ignite the fires, or any kind of fire. Like they're almost like black powder or something. All the aluminum nanoparticulates, and they say it's really cheap to make. You know, a lot of these airliners, they have their own refineries. They don't, you know, get their gas from BP or something like that. They are mixing up their own. And who knows, they're probably not even regulated, or you wouldn't be able to find the information out. We can try, but so yeah, big time spraying operation over here, and that's all headed down. And that's the thing, like the super small particulates, man, a mask won't even help, because it'll get in through your pores. That's what makes it bad, man. Man, this stuff just is not loading. I probably need to delete a bunch of crap off here and do a defrag, see if that'll help. And I know my blockers and stuff's all up to date, so spraying operation down Bajas. Usually you don't see the ship tracks and the aerosols in the Bajas, but they're pulling off a double whammy right now. Let's go ahead and check one more area. Yeah, when we put it on the, we should be able to see him in Arizona. We seen him yesterday. We might be able to see him over here on this. Oh yeah, they're definitely showing up today. So the fires are still going in Arizona, and they're spraying the mountain ridge right there. If that's a mountain, that's what they're spraying. Try clicking the layers. Yeah, look at that. You got quite a few fires. You got one up here. by the Grand Canyon National Park. Super thick one in Flagstaff, and quite a few different fires right there. We can put on the fire layer. It shows where all the fires are. So let me find that. Alright, so when this loads, it's going to point out where all the fires are. Yeah, the mainstream media, man, they're so worthless. They're just paid liars. That's what they are. They're actors. And they suck. Yeah, boy, big spraying operation there in the Bajas along with the ship tracks. Well, hopefully this will load. Man, this thing just is a time killer. All right, so here they are slowly starting to populate. So it's showing little fires all over the place. It don't even have a dot on that one yet. Maybe it's just not loaded. Sometimes this worldview map is so far behind. Yeah, so it's looking like you got about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's showing at least 11 fires going on in Arizona. And they don't even have this one marked. And this is a big size fire right there. Sycamore Canyon Wilderness. So that's a pretty good size fire. Hell's Gate Wilderness. What a name. Hell's Gate. Superstation Wilderness. So all the wildlife refugees have a fire in them. And you have the aerosols to boot. Got some fires up in Colorado. Utah, you got one. Oregon, we got fires. But the map's not loaded all the way, so. Yeah, so you got one anomaly right there in Crater Lake National Park. Could be volcanic. And of course you have all the fires up here in Canada. Tons of fires. Wow, look at all the fires that have populated in here now. Got fire in Arkansas, Oklahoma, all over Virginia, Ohio, Philadelphia, some down in Florida. Let's see if we can pick up the ship tracks a little better. Like, what are they doing right here, man? That just don't even look right. Alright, hopefully this will load, man. We're probably going to call this kind of an early show tonight, man. I'm beat right now. Oh, man. Super ship tracks going on. Aerosols. The Worxd. See that they're all in a pattern. Every one of these ships are lined up so many feet apart. These are not fishing vessels. These are weather engineering programs. Look at that, man. There's tons of ships out here. So they were gone for 3 days refueling, and now they're back. Look at them. They're all concentrated. It's like they pulled off a little, they created a pressure out of that. And that's just ending right at the very last frame when that starts up. Alright guys, we're going to call this a show, man. I'm out of it tonight. I'm tired. Anyway guys, much love.